Hang on, Mr. Douglas. Yeah.
Hello, my power people. Welcome back to Hanging with Mr. Douglas. I am Mr. Douglas, and we are here together, exploring today Chapter 21 of Ingo Swann's Secrets of Power, Volume 1. The title of this chapter, The Intelligences and the Innate Potentials. This chapter's cool. This chapter is all about exploring the existence of multiple intelligences and a spectrum of powers and intelligences. It's definitely a nice kind of response to the last chapter that we went through. The last chapter talked about the popular and passed around definitions of intelligence that left us with, not much. And definitely don't open the mind to all the ways intelligence powers can express themselves through us. Ingo makes this point throughout these volumes and throughout another book that I'm reading right now, his Reality Boxes book, also very good. But I want to bring it up now. I'll bring it up again. It's a good point, though. The point is, in order to engage and cultivate and empower anything, you must first become aware of it. If you aren't aware of what it is you want to engage with, you're not going to be able to get much, if anything, done. So, in this episode, and the excerpt and a half that I've got here for you, we're going to listen to how Ingo presents and discusses the original English definitions of intelligence, and then we kind of fold into some old school definitions of the word sagacity, which is not a word you come across really at all in the modern world, at least not in my circles. But now we do. Hey. These older definitions showed up way back in time and really provide a better understanding and defining that can be more readily engaged with. Not so nebulous. Like last chapter. All right, let's get into it. Here we go. The original English definitions of intelligence. According to the Oxford Dictionary of the English Language, the term intelligence was taken from Latin. It appeared at about 1390 and was given the short and simple definition of the faculty of understanding. The essential definition of faculty was the power of doing anything. About 1490, 100 years later, a second, slightly expanded definition had been established. Intelligence referred not only to the faculty of understanding, but to understanding as a quality admitting of degree, specifically with reference to superior understanding, quickness of mental apprehension, and sagacity. Taken from the Latin sagire, to perceive keenly, the 9 original English definitions for sagacity were given as 1. Keen in sense perception, especially that of smell. 2. Acuteness of mental discernment. 3. Having special keenness for discovery of truth. 4. Penetrating and judicious in the estimation of character and motives. 5. Penetrating and judicious in the devising of means for accomplishment of ends. 6. Shrewdness, penetration. 7. Keenness and capacity for investigation or discovery. 8. Keenness and soundness of judgment in the estimation of persons and conditions. 9. Keenness and soundness in the adaptation of means to ends. If examined carefully and thoughtfully, the original definitions are referring to active categories of understanding that are realizable via acute perceiving and keen, penetrating, shrewd, sound judgment, and sagacity. The original definitions, then, are evocative of a great number of power factors, and as such, those definitions are entirely relevant to empowerment, or to recovering from depowerment. Yeah, so here we have some more nutritious definitions that we can start to snack on. Some words that can be used as launching pads of exploration into cultivation. Before I hit on the specifics, I want to say that these books, in totality, provide a pathway for the mind for a whole new meadow where frames of reference can truly be shaped, formatted, and opened up And I am just so very thankful for these mind expander tomes. So, we go from intelligence in the excerpt, which is a faculty of understanding, to understanding that faculty was, and again, these are older definitions, but since we get to shape our own reality boxes, I'm going to hold on and give weight to these older definitions and put the newer ones in the corner. I'm not going to disregard them, but I'm going to put them in a corner because as it's looking like more and more, they've been crafted not to help us out the most, but to really help the system of control out the most, help that power structure that we exist in limit our engagement of these expanding mind conditions. So we're going to lean into the older ones here. So again, we go from intelligence, which is the faculty of understanding, to understanding that faculty is defined as the power of doing anything. So intelligence is the power of understanding, which then gets sharpened around in 1490 to include superior understanding, quickness of mental apprehension, and sagacity. And here we go. Sagacity, which comes from that Latin term sagire, which means to perceive keenly. And there's that quick superior understanding. Sagacity has these 9 definitions that now we get to use as fun water slides to slip and slide down on into a swimming pool of some more specificity. All of that summer fun to say that these definitions begin an introduction on how we might be able to more actively cultivate some of these forms of intelligence. Let's go through them, shall we? Keep your hands inside the slide at all times, brah! Number 1, and this one is the most fun for me, keen sense of perception, especially that of smell. One of the games I enjoy playing, mostly with myself, but whenever I'm describing stuff, is the smells like game. What does a fresh orange, newly peeled, that just sprayed some juice at you, what does that smell like? It's easy to say, it smells orangey, but that doesn't help cultivate keenness. The game is using words that are just a little adjacent to the item itself. So, as an example, an orange smells bright, sweet, tingly, sparkly, a little eye-opening, The word zing or springy comes to mind. This is a way to work on stretching perception to dive deeper into descriptive experience pertaining to smell. I think it's fun, too. Now I want an orange. Number 2, acuteness of mental discernment. And I think the smells like game works here, too, taking the time to recognize that while most of those words I used for orange could work for a lemon, but what would work for a lemon that wouldn't work for an orange? Tart, pinchy, squinchy-lipped, squinchy-eyed, sharp, clean. Number 3, keenness for discovery of truth. Now that, to me, and these are all, beginner, just kind of, let's wade through it a little bit, ideas. But to me, this is perhaps asking at least one more question than would normally satisfy initial inquiry. Does the store have any cookies? Yes, they have cookies, but do they have those fresh-baked in-store chocolate chip pie-sized cookies, though? You know what I mean? The face-sized chocolate chip cookie pies? Ooh. Number 4, penetrating and judicious in the estimation of character and motives. Why might somebody behave in that particular way? Well, they could be crazy. They could be on drugs, have a wider band of visual perception like a cat so that they see stuff I don't. Still, could be drugs. Bad fish. You never know. Number 5, penetrating and judicious in the devising of means for accomplishment of ends. List making, to me, comes right to mind here, and the more specific, the better. Number 6, shrewdness, penetration. Basically, whenever a commercial or advertisement of any kind pops up, car commercials, these are great. Watching for the progression of tension building to tension release because of the car or whatever it is they're selling. We see you, ads. But there is a great example of shrewdness, just paying attention to that progression of propaganda. Number 7, keenness and capacity for investigation and discovery. There's a lot of overlap here, of course, with the others. This, to me, is just another way to say an active and open mind, an open and active mind, actively open, not just passively open. Number 8, keenness and soundness of judgment in the estimation of persons and conditions. How best to engage or not engage with the cutie at the apple pile in the grocery store. How's the dude working at the self-checkout doing? Should I let him know that I have a bottle of wine that I'll need the ID check on, or is he busy? Should I wait? Number 9, keenness and soundness in the adaptation of means to ends. How can I take my skills that I have, sharpen them, and cultivate skills adjacent to them to reach my desired goals? What are my goals? Let's look at those lists. And like the last chunk of the excerpt says, these examples provide an active and evocative way to engage with the many power factors associated with these definitions, as we just explored moments ago. Now, how many people do you know that could recognize the word sagacity, let alone give anything close to these definitions? For me, as I said before, not so many. But now we both do. And so our circle of sagacity, our sagacious power people circle, grows. And the rest of the chapter does wonders to alleviate some of that frustration induced from the previous chapter, with the expanded discussion of the spectrum of powers and intelligences. There's a lot more to chapter 21. And these explorations help widen the lane of information coming to us already and filter up to standard waking consciousness, thus allowing what might be a bike trail-sized space to turn into a 5-lane freeway, where our spectrum of intelligences and powers express in ways unique and specific to you, psychic and beyond. Fantastic stuff, right? And fantastic we get to be here together to talk about it. I love it. If you've enjoyed this smattering, go ahead and get access to the whole shebang. Enjoy the entire audiobook, narrated by me, Mr. Douglas. Find it on my website, mist3rdouglas.com. There should be a link in the description. And absolutely check out ingoswann.com. ingoswann.com. Get to know the man and all his mind-expanding masterpieces. Also, pretty cool painter. I think there's a new book out right now where it goes into like some awesome recipes that he put together too. The dude is legit. And as always, until next time, thanks for hanging, and more power to you. I'm getting an orange now.